Welcome back to another Swift programming logic tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to be talking about prefixes and postfixes, how to use them, and what they are basically. So basically prefixes and postfixes are operators which you can attach to either side of like a variable or something, or a value, and basically it allows you to perform an operation on them, just like a regular function, except they're in operator form. So let me show you what I mean. Let's say we have a variable called let boolean value, and this could be anything. I'm just going to set it to, this could be any boolean variable value, so I'm just going to set it to false now. And then let's try and print, let's say we want the opposite of this thing. So if we do this now, and then we try to build it, and you'll see it succeeded, and if we run it, you'll see that it'll print the opposite of true. The opposite of that, which is true. So we'll just wait for this to load. And any second now should be done. Okay, and yeah, you can see it prints the opposite of that, so it prints true. So you can see that we attached this exclamation point to the start of it, which is what caused it to do the opposite of that. So basically what we can create is something like that. So in our case, I'm not too sure like what we can create. Let's just first show you how to do it. So basically, let's say we want to have a function which given a int will returns that plus 1 or something like that. Okay, so you'll see that what we can do is, the first thing you need to do is when you're defining a prefix, so I'm going to be talking about prefixes first, and I'll explain how to use postfixes. Basically the same thing, but we attach it to the end. So basically you'll notice that we actually have to define it in a global scope rather than the class view controller. So the first thing you want to do is you want to type prefix operator, and then you want to give what your operator is. So for example, there's only I only know a few which can actually work. I know that the exclamation mark is one, question mark is one, the percentage sign is one. I also know that the I think it's greater than sign is one, but for some reason the less than sign isn't. Those are the only ones I know off the top of my head. So for our example, I'm just going to use the percentage sign. So once you've defined it up there, then you can go down here and type prefix function, and then put the symbol which you defined up there. And then for a prefix, since you're going to put something before the value, you also want to take in a right side, and in our case it's going to be an int, and it's going to return an int. So once we have this, it's basically like a regular function. So since we want to return this plus 1, we can just do return right side plus 1. So now if we just comment out this, let's say we have let a number, and I'm just going to set this to 5, and now let's print our operator with its right side, which is a number. So percentage sign and then a number. So you can see it kind of just looks like any other operator. We've just placed it in front of this, and I believe you can also put it in brackets, but it's not really going to change anything. I think it looks nicer when it's like this, because now you know. So if we run this, we should end up getting 6 printed, and yeah. So you'll see if I try and define this over here, it's actually going to give me an error. It's going to say operator can only be defined at file scope, which is just talking about this scope. And then if I try and use like some letter which isn't allowed, so let's say I try to use something like the $, and then place that there as well. So if I build this now, you're going to say $sign is considered an identifier and must not appear within an operator name. So it's basically saying I'm not allowed. So the ones we're allowed is, I'm just going to write them up here, and then allow this, and also this. Those are the ones I can remember. And yeah, I don't know why the exclamation point's allowed. Maybe if you're using boolean variables, it's not going to be allowed. But yeah, we can do that like that, and then I believe if we just do that, run this, we should get the same thing. So yeah, that's how you use prefixes. And now postfixes are basically the same thing except they go after. So let's say we have a number. I'm just going to define a number like 3, and then let's just say we want something like print a number factorial, which is basically just like 3 times 2 times 1, which is 6. So let's say we want a function for this, and the actual notation for this is an exclamation point, so let's use that. So I'm just going to comment out this, and then we'll just comment out all of this. Okay, so let's go down here and let's say a function which returns the factorial of the number on the left side, because now that we're doing postfixes, it's actually the number on the left side rather than the right side. So let's go down here, define our postfix operator exclamation point, and then let's go down here, postfix function, and then this is just factorial. We'll take in the left side, which is just an int, return another int. Okay, so now we just have to perform a basic factorial operation, which is just basically, first we're going to create a copy, so var number equals left side, and then I'm just going to create a var result equals 1, and then while number is not equal to 0, result multiply equals number, and then we can just return the result. That should give us our factorial. And why is it saying cannot? Okay, so yeah, I'm assuming that it's not going to allow us to use postfixes, exclamation points, and question marks, because you might notice in a nil coalescing, when you try to unwrap an optional value, you also use that, so it might not allow that because of that. So I'm just going to use another one of these. Let's just use the percentage sign, and once we have this, oh, forgot. Okay, so now this should give us our factorial, so I'm just going to replace this with a with the thing we defined up here, and now if we run this, we should get 6. And yeah, so now we basically just created a factorial operator. This is our operator. If we do 5, factorial 5 is just going to be 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which is just going to be 120. So if we run this, we should get 120. And yeah, so that's basically how you define prefixes and postfixes. In the next tutorial I'll talk about infixes, which are kind of the same thing but a tiny bit different. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the future tutorial. Bye!